Let the record reflect, we have reconvened with all members present. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, and after the pledge, I ask you to remain standing. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. On August 23rd, Madison lost Tony Donato Jr., lifelong resident. Tony was a fourth-generation Madisonian, though technically he has one little asterisk there that he was born in Brooklyn, but was here in Madison since his infancy. He's truly had a deep admiration for his hometown, and Tony is one of the few truly who has earned the name Mr. Madison. Graduate of St. Vincent Martyr School, class of 1944, Madison High School, class of 48. He served our country in the U.S. Army, honorably discharged from the 3rd Infantry Division, 7th Regiment Combat Team. He served right here in this room as a council member from 1972 to 1973, instrumental in the early days of the Downtown Development Commission. He served as our downtown manager from 1987 to 1999. His love of Madison included historic photos and films from over the years. He was well versed in Madison history, also a member of the Madison Historical Society. And like many people for a long time, was a regular at Central Lunch, sharing all those stories. Those of us who knew him will miss his wit, his great sense of humor. And if you saw that picture that was with his obituary, with his wave, that was true Tony Donato. He will be deeply missed by all who loved and knew him. Let us have a moment of silence for Mr. Madison, Tony Donato. Thank you. All right. Motion for executive minutes of August 13th.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion for the regular minutes of August 13th, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion or corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Welcome all. It must be a big crowd because we had a little break and we're back after the summer. I know we have a special night ahead, so I'm so proud to see so many of you here. And our council up here is well rested after our summer break, a little over a month from last meeting. As anyone up here will say, that life does not stop during that month, so I know things were very busy. But we do still have a lot to catch up with. A couple of comments before we get to some very special work to be done. Yesterday, our emergency management team met to review our readiness in the event of a weather emergency. This meeting was scheduled when Florence had a potential impact on New Jersey. And while here in New Jersey, we've been frustrated with the remnants of Tropical Storm Gordon, we are all thinking of the Carolinas, who are facing a catastrophic storm with landfall as a Category 3 storm, bringing that the related winds and storm surge, and then rain that will be measured not in inches, but in feet as the movement slows to a crawl. So let us all keep the residents of the Carolinas in our thoughts and prayers in the coming days. Shifting gears a little bit, a few things that did happen over the last month I would just want to cover quickly. It was August 10th, 1968, when the self-funded Madison Community Pool opened for swimmers for the first time. And this past Labor Day weekend, the pool celebrated the gold anniversary by opening up to all residents. And by the look of the crowd there, it appeared that all 16,000 Madison residents were there. It was pretty crowded. And what might have been the first time that a soaking wet mayor in a bathing suit presented a proclamation, I had the honor to recognize the milestone, and not only of the pool serving many Madison families, but also 50 years of volunteer work of the trustees, from the first president, Tom Walsh, to the current president, Ed Nunn. Also, in our little gap there, the weather cleared long enough on August 18th that I had my first talk in the park, meeting residents at the Clock on Waverly Place. As you can expect in mid-August, the turnout was light, but one special set of visitors, one family that had just moved to Madison 6 weeks ago and had wanted to make a point to introduce their 4- and 6-year-old to the mayor. So it was great to welcome them to Madison. So my schedule the next couple of weekends is pretty crazy, but I'm looking forward to doing another talk in the park, and that's where I'll just announce ahead of time and spend an hour or so and invite people to stop by. So I will announce that and the location. Then the next weekend on Saturday, August 25th, welcomed 500 incoming Drew freshmen as part of the annual town tour. They enjoyed lunch in town, sponsored by the DDC, and got a great understanding of their new home from upper-class tour guides. And what should be noted is this is the largest incoming class for many years for Drew at 500 students. So if you see young adults in town with a Drew shirt on, please welcome them. The employee for the month of September is Danny DiBiase of the Department of Public Works for his commitment and hard work installing fiber wire at the garage and other locations to enhance the borough's security, especially he was working during the oppressive heat and on his own time on the evening of July 13th at the Madison Avenue Water Tower to make sure the job was done. And for those that are in the Central Avenue school neighborhood over the next couple of days, make sure you go up to Mary Morano, who has been working very hard at that corner of Britain and Central. She is celebrating, or just celebrated, 20 years on the job as a crossing guard on September 9th. So make sure you congratulate Mary Morano. So now we're going to shift a little bit, and I'm going to ask for a motion on Resolution 254, resolution of the Borough of Madison appointing Auxiliary Police Captain Samuel J. DiMarzo, Sr. as Chief of the Auxiliary Police, Lieutenant Pasquale Spagnuolo as Captain of the Auxiliary Police, and Officer Samuel J. DiMarzo, Jr. as Lieutenant Auxiliary Police for the Borough of Madison.
Mr. Mayor, move Resolution R 254-2018.
A second.
Council discussion. I don't think we need any. Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Vitale?
Yes.
Ms. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Wolkowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Rowe?
Yes.
Ms. Byrne?
Yes.
Mr. Hoover?
Yes. All right, Mayor, I would like to have Judge James DiMarzo please come forward. Start with our chief. Okay. Sam, can you please come up? And Sam, as you're coming up, let me just a little background on Sam. Not that Sam needs any background shared, but there is some new faces in the audience. And have Terry and family come on up. So the soon-to-be Chief DiMarzo, lifetime resident of Madison, growing up, he's attended St. Vincent Martyr and Madison Public Schools, graduated in Madison High School. We overlapped a little bit. I was older. Don't tell anyone about my long hair. He was a third generation, co-owning and operating one of Madison's oldest and most famous businesses. He has coached many youth sports in Madison and past president of the Madison Youth Lacrosse Program. Also served as advisory board of the Academy of St. Elizabeth, St. Vincent Martyr, and Madison Public Library. Chief DiMarzo started with the Madison Public Police Department in 1975 as the town's second police explorer. In 1978, Chief DiMarzo was sworn in as auxiliary police officer, and he has been with the department ever since. And just I want to emphasize that volunteer history there, and for those that don't know, this is a volunteer position. Not only volunteering for the time given for all these officers, but plenty of hours of training. And let me hand this over to our judge.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Thank you for having me. Terry, if I can have you come over here, you're going to hold our Bible for us. Sam, you're going to come up here and face the audience. I'm going to stand over here. Please place your right hand on the Bible, raise your left, and repeat after me, please. I, Samuel J. DiMarzo,
I, Samuel J. DiMarzo,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform the duties of Chief of Auxiliary Police according to the best of my ability. I further solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and to the governments established in the United States and in this state, under the authority of the people, so help me God. Congratulations. Sign it. Terry, you got to pin that up? While Terry is pinning on Sam's new badge, I will say I'm very proud of, obviously, everybody in my family, but as far as this auxiliary police, this has been something that Sam has really, he's just loved it since we were kids. I remember when the Geraldine Dodge, there was a picnic on the 4th of July of the bicentennial. We were all up at the Dodge mansion celebrating on the lawn, and he was working as an auxiliary back in 1976. We were just kids. So I'm very proud of him. Good luck, Sam. He does. Not a drop of blood drawn on that. Excellent. Those vests work. All right.
Got to sign. He has to sign.
Sign this, Sam.
Yeah, sign it.
Perfect. It's official.
Okay. Next, if I can have Pasquale Spagnolo please come up.
Let me give you a little background on Captain Pat Spagnolo. Grew up in Madison, went to school in Madison. Perfect fit to volunteer in town because you lived and worked locally. Began volunteering with the department in the 1960s. And somewhere around 1970, you were sworn in as auxiliary police. I guess we have to double check the exact year, but it was about 48 years ago. And since that time, donated thousands of hours to the department. It's probably in the tens at this point. And is currently serving as the longest serving member of the Madison Police Department. Sir?
Okay. Pasquale's wife, Carolina, is going to hold the Bible for us. Pat, I want you to stand where Sam was standing. Very good. Raise your left hand on the Bible, raise your right. We're backwards. Go this way. Stand up. Left hand on the Bible, raise your
Right
right.
hand and the raise.
Raise left.
Raise your right. That's easy. All right. Repeat after me. I, Pasquale Spagnolo, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of Captain of Auxiliary Police according to the best of my ability. I further solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and to the governments established in the United States and in this state, under the authority of the people, so help me God. Congratulations.
Don't get blood in the shirt.
Yeah, we'll take it later. There you go.
You gotta sign. Which one says? Okay, congrats, Matt. Good luck. All right. And last, Samuel J. DiMarzo Jr., please.
As I go through his bio, I just want to emphasize the DiMarzo commitment and what they mean to Madison. In this room right now, we have 4 generations of the DiMarzo family, and that is very special. And more to come to the next generation. So Lieutenant Sam DiMarzo Jr., who I remember in sports classes many years ago, here with a wife Melissa, son Sammy, and to be named. Lifelong resident of Madison. Growing up, he attended Madison Public Schools until high school, went on to Seton Hall Prep, then Fairleigh Dickinson for undergraduate, earned his MBA in town from Fairleigh Dickinson University. Currently works as the 4th generation in a family-owned business in Madison. And if you can't guess the name of that family-owned business, you failed the Madison test. And in addition to working with the department, he has been youth coach for lacrosse right here in Madison. Lieutenant DiMarzo started by attending the Essex County Police Academy. He was sworn in 2006 and has been serving Madison ever since. Judge?
Okay. Please. Hold the Bible for Sam. And your hand here. Left hand on the Bible, raise your right. I'm so used when I sit on the bench in court, I look down at the people, it's reversed. All right. Very good. You still don't have it right. You got to stand here. All right. Excellent.
There you go.
Perfect. Again, I'm very proud, Sammy, that you're doing this following in Dad's footsteps. And again, you, your brother Joe, you've been doing this since you were pretty much in high school. And it's a fantastic thing that you do for the town. But I know that you do it because you love it. And we're very proud of you also. Please raise your right hand. I, Samuel J. DiMarzo, Jr.
I, Samuel J. DiMarzo, Jr.
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of
perform all the duties of
Lieutenant of Auxiliary Police
Lieutenant of Auxiliary Police
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
I further solemnly swear
I further solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Good job. Did you sign? And then you're official.
And I know that there's a celebration going on shortly, but I ask everyone to stay just a few more minutes. We have 2 more things that I would like to have everyone here for, and then we won't be insulted if you leave. Can I have Sergeant James Caveza, Officer Christopher Burns, Officer Travis Davis,
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
whether you're a volunteer auxiliary or paid police officer, you don't know what your day will bring and the difference that you can make in a life when your day starts. These three officers represent a saved life along with officers from Chatham. Let me share the story a little bit. On August 13th, Sergeant James Caveza, Officer Christopher Burns, Officer Travis Davis were called to the railroad bridge on Union Hill Road to assist Chatham police officers with a juvenile who was sitting on the ledge of the bridge threatening to jump off. The bridge is 40 feet above the tracks and it has high voltage electric power lines under the bridge. It was determined that the juvenile had contacted Suicide Helpline and had indicated she planned to commit suicide by jumping from the bridge. While the Chatham police officers distracted the juvenile, our Madison police officers approached quietly from the rear to navigate the 8-foot-high wall above the sidewalk. And Officer Burns jumped, grabbed the juvenile's waist, and assisted by Sergeant Caveza and Officer Davis, removed her safely from the bridge. The juvenile was evaluated at Morristown Memorial Medical Center and is back with her family getting mental health services. This is an example of great work of the Madison officers, the Chatham officers, and truly deserving of Mayor's Hero Awards. I'd like to present this. Thank you for all you do every day. Can I have Chatham Council President Len Resto please come forward?
I'm going to eat.
And this is a proclamation I have the honor to present to our great friend in Chatham, Len Resto, Council President, and it's certainly related to the recognition we just made. And this is a proclamation supporting the Out of Darkness Walk on September 22nd, 2018. Len, who will talk a little bit about it shortly, has been the top fundraiser, I think, for every year. And not only, but probably more importantly, the top person in raising awareness to this important cause. Whereas the Borough of Madison is committed to increasing the awareness of suicide prevention and wishes to recognize the importance of suicide awareness in our community. And whereas a suicide attempt is made every minute of every day, resulting in nearly 1 million attempts made annually. And with an increasing number of teens and preteens, members of the military and police, fire and emergency management technicians are at the most risk. And whereas the stigma of mental health illnesses cause many to remain silent about suicide and attempted suicides. And whereas the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention is a multifaceted organization made up of esteemed scientists, dedicated survivors of suicide loss, people with mental disorders and their families, and those who wish to bring suicide and mental illness out of the shadows, and with an expansive network of business and community leaders that advocates and supports policies that contribute to reducing and preventing suicides nationwide, encourages individuals who may be in crisis to call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK, 1-800-273-TALK, which is 8255. And whereas the third annual Out of Darkness Walk will take place on September 22nd, 2018 at 4:30 at Cougar Field in Chatham to increase awareness of suicide prevention and raise funds to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, an endeavor which the Borough of Madison fully supports. Now therefore I, Robert H. Conley, Mayor of Borough of Madison, on behalf of the governing body, hereby encourage residents to support this important cause by either registering to walk, raise funds, or attend the Out of Darkness event on September 22nd at Cougar Field. Len, thank you so much for your dedication to this cause.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Council. This is very touching. And as Council President Chatham Borough, I can tell you we do not frame our proclamations. We don't have the budget for it. So thank you very much. This will be displayed proudly. I'm a co-chair of the Out of the Darkness Walk, which is part of the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention's way of raising funds for suicide prevention programs such as Talk Saves Lives, Ending the Stigma, and how to recognize the signs of suicide. I congratulate the 3 officers who were commended this evening, and rightfully so, who assisted our Chatham Borough officers in preventing a teen suicide back in August. And I can relate because I'm a suicide survivor. I tried to take my life at the age of 17. And when that happens, you're not thinking about anything else other than ending your pain. People say, gee, how could you have done that to your parents? You're not thinking of that. What you're thinking of is, how do I end my pain and how am I best going to do it? And thank God I was spared. I did it through an overdose of drugs and was in ICU for 4 days. And it was a quick thinking of the Bayonne police, where I lived at the time. They didn't wait for the ambulance. They just threw me in the squad car, as I'm told by my parents, and rushed me to the hospital, had my stomach pumped, and I spent 4 days in ICU and came through. And so I've made it my mission to tell my story to help others, because if I help just one person, then what I do is totally worthwhile. So I appreciate this very much. I thank the mayor and council. I appreciate it, and thank you very much all.
And thank you so much.
Everybody can go.
All right, we will
Don't tell no start.
allow, thank you all for coming tonight to support this great evening. And again, you're welcome to stay, but we won't take it personally. We're not taking pictures as you leave, so it's okay.
You can lower the air conditioning now.
Pardon?
You can lower the air conditioning now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for
Nice to see
the council that I'm declaring this, at least temporarily, a jackets optional night, because I am dying up here.
Melissa.
Jacket's optional.
I know.
Bye, Joe. Take care.
Hopefully be a quick meeting.
Are the windows open?
Me too.
They do open.
Be good.
How are you?
Bye.
Hi, Connie.
They'll stop in the hallway. I think they got to the hallway and stopped.
Hear what I said about the little redheaded boy?
No, Pat.
You can almost take his
Okay.
Okay, that shows the redhead.
That's my joke.
It's right. Show power.
Missing the
Coming up.
Thanks for coming.
How you doing? Put the hat on.
Oh, yeah, she's the aunt.
5 people left.
DeMarza.
She's married.
She was a DeMarza. Terry Herman
Hey,
is married.
hey, the girls need to get their picture taken up there too. This is not a male job.
She's not a DeMarzo. No, she's not.
Oh, no, she's not a DeMarza, no.
He's got his pack full.
She came from somewhere. She didn't come from this area.
Yeah, that's why the mayor said we could take our jackets off.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Not that one.
Mr. McCann. Say hello to us. Isn't it? He's gonna push the shit out of
Who that is? That's not Davis taking. Yeah. No, it's not Davis taking.
Power to you,
She thinks she's gonna get there, but I gotta go over there.
Well, Sam, for you.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you so much. Congratulations. It's great. Yeah. That's really nice. Come back and see us sometime, okay? Thanks. Yeah.
Great. Bye. He was great.
Okay, we'll see if we can pull back together here.
Come here. You're a good man. Thank you.
He's not even running. He's where the mayor sits now. He's an actual future governor or president.
Right there, hold that. Okay, there we go.
How old is he?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thanks for coming.
Prop me out later. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
I know.
We'll move on to reports from committees.
The old faithful.
Health, Council President Rowe.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Well, I guess.
You want me to, I can talk really loud. So it's the flu season is upon us, and the health department would like everyone to know that they have flu clinic dates scheduled, and they are as follows: on Tuesday, October 9th, from 10 to 11 a.m. at the Madison Housing Authority building on Chateau Thierry, and also on the following Wednesdays, October 17th and October 24th, from 9 to 11 a.m. at the Civic Center on Walnut Street. Next, this YMCA Teen Center will be the location of a Hidden in Plain Sight program on September 19th. This program gives parents tips on spotting substance abuse, but is for parents only. And last, September is National Childhood Obesity Month. Residents can find further information on the Health Department webpage on Rosenet. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Public Works and Engineering, Ms. Vitale.
Thank you, Mayor. Besides servicing and repairing the police vehicles, the mechanics department mounted new light bulbs on the electric trucks, vehicles 136 and 137, and they also repaired an engine block heater on HDM building generator, and they repaired the Waverly Town clock. Thank you. So, and also the Parks Department is still busy cutting and weeding and trimming. They're also lining fields for the fall baseball, so they're working on the recreation fields. Roads Department are taking care of the potholes and manholes and the catch basins. They've been very busy actually working alongside all of the people working on all the roads. Sewer Department is, besides their day-to-day operations, they're doing lots of markouts for PSE&G. Yeah, it doesn't work.
No, it does.
It's working.
It's working.
Oh, it's working.
It's on.
Now it's working.
Not close enough.
I'm not starting all over again.
Robert.
Jim, tell them their food's getting cold.
So also they investigated various residential sewage blockage. One of the other report I have is from Building and Construction report. Year to date, I think that this is really important because these are hardworking people. We have a shared service with Chatham Borough, but year to date, the Building Department has issued 1,274 permits, and performed 6,653 inspections. The revenue collected is $613,301. Final COs have been issued for all the school projects as well. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Finance Borough Clerk, Ms. Bailey.
Thank you, Mayor. From the clerk's office, in anticipation of the November 6th general election, the Borough Clerk's office will be open for late-night voter registration until 8 p.m. Tuesday, October 16th. And that's the last day to register before the election. Registration forms as well as mail-in ballot applications are available in the clerk's office and online at morriselections.org. Also, a reminder, the electric utility rebate program ends December 1st. Forms are available in the clerk's office and online. From Finance Department, the budget preparations for 2019 continue by the borough departments. Thank you.
Thank you. And Public Safety, Mr. Wolkowitz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Beginning with the fire department, they had a very busy August. 21 general alarms, 30 still alarms, 31 investigations, and 37 EMS calls. It amounted to 119 calls in total, which is about their average month, so they don't slow down in August. They also had 46 fire prevention inspections and 17 smoke and carbon monoxide inspections. As for the police department, on September 10th, the police department took possession of their new emergency services truck. It replaces a truck that was built in 1990. So if you think the police department has a lot of new vehicles, they may shine, but some of them are quite old. This vehicle will be utilized basically to supply emergency equipment and lighting to be used at crime scenes, motor vehicle crashes, and community events. And the only other item I had was obviously a very important one, and the mayor already covered it. So thank you.
Thank you. Community Affairs, Ms. Byrne.
Well, I hope all the Madison High School athletes' parents enjoyed their week off in August because school is in session and the fall season has begun. And I'd like to encourage people. This is really entertaining. We have field hockey, we have soccer, we have volleyball, and of course, we have football. And we don't charge anything. So go to the website, find a game, and come cheer these kids on. From the GDC, I'm not going to say anything because Lisa's going to talk. And then finally, I was also at the emergency preparedness meeting, and I just wanted to show you this. This is going to be distributed. It's going to be published. We're trying to get it all over. If you lose your lights or you lose your water, we want you to call a specific number, 973-966-7330. This number will be monitored 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We're hoping, especially in an emergency, you will use this number, or in a big emergency like Sandy, there is another number which is 593-8787. And we're hoping you'll use these numbers because most people, when something like this happens, call the police department. They all use the 3000 number. I know. I've used the 3000 number. But in an emergency, that can completely overwhelm their system. So this is on the website. We are also compiling a list of senior citizens in town and contacting them to make sure we know how they want to receive emergency information. Thank you.
Thank you. And utilities, Mr. Hoover.
Well, both the electric and water department have been involved with the Office of Emergency Management in preparation for whatever impact Hurricane Florence will have, and we don't think it's going to have very much at all. But they have been involved with planning for it. And for the electric department, General Electric put up a new traffic light pole in Green Village and Kings Road that has an LED light. That's a good news. On August 16th, the standby crew was called out at the end of the day to Kings Road for a pole that rotted from the bottom and broke. It was leaning over a transformer, and they had to replace the whole thing. The electric department is almost finished with the Atlantic Healthcare primary riser pole. That should be done soon. The tree crew doing the line clearance throughout town, Tough Greens, worked their last day on September 6th, and according to the electric department, did a very good job. In the water department, one water shutoff and meter removed from a house demolition. The water main tie for the new Atlantic Healthcare at Fort Giralda Farms was completed with the assistance of the water department. And houses number 2 through number 24 on Lewanika Way that were owned by Drew University Housing were sold, and the 8-inch fire line that supplied the 6 houses were turned off and abandoned. A 4-inch fire sprinkler line was installed at 30 Central Avenue for HUD housing. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you very much. All right, any communications or petitions?
Yes, Mayor. Council received 2 communications. One, August 22nd, an email from volunteers of the Madison Cub Scouting and Boy Scouting programs regarding the dog park. And September 5th, there was an email received from resident Michael Soriano regarding pilot tax programs.
Thank you very much. And this is now our first of 2 invitations for discussion. This is limited to agenda items. If you wish to comment on non-agenda items, that will be coming up shortly in the agenda. Let me just go through quickly what you can comment on so you have it, you're aware of it, and also you know the resolutions that are listed under the consent agenda. So we have a single discussion item today, which is a presentation on our new Madison Community Arts Center. And the resolutions you can comment on that are also under the consent. Resolution 237, authorizing an execution of addendum amending agreement for health services of the town of Bloomfield. This is because of the addition of the town of Cranford that we provide services to. 238, which is extending the contract with Seal Power for energy audits. So our residents can continue to take advantage of that $49 offer. The Resolution 239, restoration of bond to Louis R. Casamassa on Block 1106, lots 8 and 9. And this is, that site work has been completed. That's on Loveland Street. Resolution 240, authorizing purchase of installation of new windows and related work at the Department of Public Works. And it's the amount of $26,400 and authorized by Ordinance 26, 2016. Resolution 241, authorizing a special event permit for the use of the parking lot for the Rotary Club for public shredding on October 20th between 9 and 12, and that's a parking lot by the Ambulance Corps. Resolution 242, authorizing raffles sorry, by the Elks Club, conduct daily instant raffle games, including Sundays. 243, resolution awarding professional services contract to J.A. Malahik, architect, and this is designed for the electric storage building. This contract not to exceed $12,000. This money was authorized by Ordinance 37, 2018. Resolution 244, professional services contract to Bowman Consulting Engineers for the electric storage building. And this is not to exceed $7,500. And this is also authorized by Ordinance 37. Resolution 245, authorizing non-disclosure agreement with Enernoc for possible electric energy generation project. Resolution 246, endorsing acceptance of municipal right-of-way known as Community Place. And this is to take the extension, the side on the Central Avenue School side that now will become official borough road. Resolution 247, rejecting bids for new, unused electric utility electronic meters, and that's because the bids were not complete, as the legalese would call them, non-responsive. Resolution 248, reducing the amount of the surety bond and cash bond posted by KRE, the project on 33 Green Village Road, also Kings Road, as it really fronts on, and the bond reduced by $1.2 million, and the cash bond to be refunded of $137,000. This is to show the progress that has been going on there. Resolution 249, awarding contract to Ray Palmer Associates for wells A and B, and this is the amount of $328,000, and this was appropriated by Ordinance 2018, and Resolution 35, or Ordinance 35. Resolution 250, approving raffles by Grace Episcopal Church. Okay. And then we also have, let me go to my other list here. We had some late additions that have been posted. 253, there was 251. Okay. Where's 250? 251 was. We missed. Okay, we'll figure it just a second.
You want me to read it for you, Mayor? Right here.
I'm missing 251, but 252 resolution change order and final payment to Micropave for crack sealing. 253 accepting resignation of truck driver and DPW. 254 we've already taken care of, and that was the appointment of our officers and auxiliary. 255 is accepting grant from Hazardous Discharge Site Remediation Fund. 251. And cancellation of real property tax of $16,000. So those are they will all be on the consent, and those are the ones you can comment on if you kept track of all that. I apologize. That's what happens when there's time in between meetings. Anyone wishing to comment, please step forward, state your name, your address. Try to keep your comments to 3 minutes or less, but I will cut you at 4. Seeing none, I will now move on to the next part of our agenda, which is agenda discussions. Lisa Ellis. Yes.
Good evening. As you should all be aware, the Madison Community Arts Space is open for business. We still have a few little, the little niggling construction and function things that we're working through with KRE and with our electrician. But it's ready for operation. The first official event was held last Saturday. Yesterday we had a chamber open house there. And this Friday night, the Grace Counseling Center will be holding their gala. They are our first paid customer. I'm just going to go through, this is mostly just photos of the space, inside, outside. Oh no, I forgot, Michael. We didn't turn that on. Oh, I have to do it this way. Okay, these are all exterior shots. Doorways. This space has the inside room, which is about 1,400 square feet, plus amenity spaces, hallways, restrooms, ticket space. And then it also has all this outdoor area and the amazing ability to create an indoor-outdoor space, because the doors out front are nano doors and they open all the way up. So it's really quite lovely. It has a sprung wood floor, which will be industry standard for dancers, actors, etc. And we have dressing room facilities there as well. The unique part about the dressing room facility is it also can serve other functions. It can serve as a catering station, etc. We are going to look to put a catering sink into that room, which will help the functionality. You know, we're going to learn as we go along. It also has this amazing outdoor stage, which is huge, which I wasn't expecting. That is a sun shield, not a rain shield. But there is certainly room out there for tents. This is like the outside door and the inside view of the front lobby. This is the lobby. The floor needs to be swept. We're working on that. That area to the left is the ticket booth area. There's nothing in there yet. Eventually, the idea is to put a desk, some storage, a computer station, etc. Those doors open to the main theater, multi-purpose space. This is that space. Those silver plates will eventually be replaced with permanent electric floor boxes. They are here, they just have not yet been installed. The doors in the back are all pocket doors, and there's a hallway that kind of encloses on three sides the entire space, which for theater purposes creates a back-of-house flow so that actors, you can come in and out the doors, which is quite ingenious. This is the space looking out to the street. And you can see those doors open all the way, both sets. It was a little too cold and wet for me to open them today. But you can get a sense of it through the doors, I think. So it's just more of the same. That's the hallway, and that shows you the dressing room space. The thought is to put on that back wall a catering sink. You can see there's electric outlets that are high and low also for catering purposes. And this is some shots from the Healthy Italia White Party that was held there last Saturday, which is, you can see that it can accommodate a lot of people, up to 100 seated at tables.
I think they had 100 there, right?
All right, 100 seated at tables, 150 theater style, and up to maybe 200, depending in and out, for cocktail style events. And that's it. Those are the photos. I have shared with Mayor and Council 2 documents. One is the rental information, including all the rates, etc. And it also has a link, will hopefully have a link once loaded onto the website, to the application, which I've also shared with you, and we've already used this a couple of times. It's turning out to be pretty functional. But with your blessing, I will load this, we'll create a web page under my department, and we will load this up, and we'll start getting the word out and getting this place filled. It's already has a lot of interest, so I think we're going to be quite successful. Does anybody have any questions?
Questions or comments? John?
A couple of questions, please. First of all, how were the rates determined?
The rates were determined by research comparison of many facilities in New Jersey, a few in New York, etc. That information was all shared with administration, and we worked through that to create that. It's also based, we wanted it to be at a level where it would be comparable to a lot of the other facilities in town and not price ourselves out of the market, especially at the beginning. So I think that's where we landed. I'm happy to share that research with you if you would like to see it.
I guess my concern is, one, are they sufficiently attractive to get people to use the facility, number one, and two, are they the right price? I just don't know. I mean, I don't know that I can make a decision.
Well, if you look, I can maybe it will help if I share that research with you and you see where it falls.
Sure.
These, I think, are fair, and at the level, people are not saying, oh, that's too expensive. They're saying, oh, great, we can afford this.
Okay.
So I think that's what
I'd like to see that. That'd be fine. And the second question I had was, who's the site manager? You keep referring to, this keeps referring to the site manager making approvals and reviewing stuff and going to the site manager and that kind of thing. And I just wonder who the site
Currently,
manager is.
as of now, it's me. But I'm hoping, and I've been talking to administration and the mayor, and we're trying to move toward a bigger vision. I would really like, and I've been talking to MACA, I've met with the leadership of them several times, because I think this space has amazing potential, and I would really like somebody with real theater experience involved and with the contacts, because I think we can really build this into quite an art center. It's part of a bigger vision for the arts in town in general. I mean, we have amazing things going on here. We have Shakespeare Theater, we have Writers Theater, we have we have the universities. I think that we really need someone with that theater expertise to kind of pull this whole thing together. MACA is actually, I believe, going to have a conversation about that at their board meeting tomorrow. And so I'm hoping we're working towards some kind of a shared position to help manage arts in general and this space as well.
Yeah, I guess because it is such a terrific space that I was stopped over there the other day to see the.
Did you wear white?
The Italian. I did not. I had a stupid maroon shirt on. I felt really out of place, totally out of place.
Didn't get the memo.
But the function looked great. The space looked well utilized. It looked great. It was terrific. My concern is the workload and how it's going to expand and grow and how much time it's going to take to do this job is what my concern is. So,
and certainly
agree more.
Sure.
I think we'll make sure that interim is in capital letters in front of Lisa's role right now.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And it can, I just see it morphing as a layered thing, where it works through my office and with my office, but, has its own, a life of its own. And because I think the sky's the limit here as far as what we can do from an arts and culture perspective.
Sure.
Maureen, and then Ben?
Well, I agree. Even if we do share things with MACA, I would feel much better if a borough employee was overlooking the whole situation. And when you think about it, this is a beautiful room, and it's actually quite large. And here in Madison, I think the only spaces that are available are either in the schools, at the Elks Lodge, or at the community house, the Thursday morning club. And I have been in all of those facilities, and none of them are as suited for things like this as this one is.
I think that's the biggest asset to it. It's a blank slate. It can be anything, and I think that is we're going to see a lot of interest in it.
Ben?
Yeah, I was just going to ask that we on the council receive the packets that you would give someone who's interested in renting.
Okay. Well, right now that's
fine. Yeah, I don't believe we got those.
Yes, we did. She sent it to us.
We did? Where were they?
I
Today.
emailed them again today. I emailed them a few times.
That explains it. All right, thank you.
I'll print them for you.
No, it's okay. I didn't check my emails.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Just a little more understanding of this facility. You may wonder how it came about as a redevelopment site. This was part of the redevelopment plan, and so KRE has provided this to Madison for $1 a year for the next 30 years. And so it's, creating a great community center at, the developer providing it for us. So obviously we did some improvements in there, but the developer made that space available. So it's great, and more to come. All right. Thank you, Lisa. The clerk, please read the statement on ordinances for hearing.
The ordinance scheduled for hearing was introduced by title and passed on first reading at the regular meeting of the council held on Monday, August 13th, 2018. Posted and filed according to law, and copies were made available to the general public requesting same.
I call up Ordinance 45, 2018 for second reading. Ask the clerk to read said ordinance by title.
Ordinance of the Borough of Madison mandating direct deposit for compensation for municipal employees of the Borough of Madison, effective January 1st, 2019, pursuant to NJSA 52:14-15F.
I open the hearing for anyone wishing to comment on Ordinance 45. Anyone wishing, please step forward. Seeing none, I close the hearing.
Mayor, I move ordinance 45-2018.
Second it.
Any council discussion?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was too anxious. I thought it was a good
Maureen.
I think it's a really good ordinance. My only concern is if an employee did not hold their money in an organization that accepted direct deposit, those people would be accommodated, correct?
There's a method to apply for an exemption, I believe. Is
yes, and it's not effective to January 1st, so it gives them 4 months to kind of work something out
Okay.
before we start this.
Any other comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Vitale?
Yes.
Ms. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Wolkowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Rowe?
Yes.
Mrs. Byrne?
Yes.
Mr. Hoover?
Yes.
I declare Ordinance 45-2018 adopted and finally passed, and ask the clerk to publish notice thereof in the newspaper and file this ordinance in accordance with the law. And now we are on to the second of invitations for discussion. This is when you may comment on anything, but the same rules apply. Please step forward, state your name, your address, write the same on the clipboard, and try to keep your comments to 3 minutes. I will give you a 1-minute warning and ask you to stop at 4.
Hi, my name is Jean Scher. I live at 32 Kitchell Road. In November 2017, Madison passed a bamboo ordinance, and my husband and I really appreciated the town's efforts, but the ordinance has been ineffective, and we are here seeking an amendment. We filed a complaint under the ordinance on November 28th last year. Under the ordinance, the bamboo was to be totally removed or set back and permanently contained by the end of May. It's still not done. On June 21st, the health officer hand-delivered a notice of violation. The notice gives my neighbor 10 days to move it from the property line, 30 days to install permanent barriers, and 10 days to fix a broken fence that is falling into my front yard. None of it was done. I'm going to pass photos.
I'll take them.
Yeah, well, they need to come up to the clerk. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I think it's
Then in July, the health officer advised that the next step would be to file a complaint in court, to take it in front of a judge. He explained that all the delays, because we've been talking to him since November, okay, and this is July, and his patience with my neighbor was so that the court would agree that my neighbor was given a lot of opportunity to comply, okay, 8 months. I've heard nothing from the health department since July 22nd, despite several texts and my going to the office to meet with him. I'm there asking for the ordinance to be amended. It needs teeth. You may know that Harding Township passed a bamboo ordinance Monday night, because I started it in May. I asked for it in May. It was passed on Monday night. That ordinance, like some other New Jersey towns, allows the township to remove the bamboo and file a lien against the homeowner for the costs if the homeowner ignores the ordinance. I respectfully urge Madison to amend the ordinance to better address a resident who is disregarding the ordinance.
Thank you very much.
You want to just see what I'm talking about. This is my yard. This is all the bamboo. It's been pushed back a little bit here, but we're still here. And there's no containment barrier anywhere. It's supposed to be contained, pushed back, contained, and it's also supposed to be tied up. None of that. You can see the broken fence. That fence was broken in March. Under the notice this summer that he gave them, June 21st, it was supposed to be fixed in 10 days. You can see what it looks like in my front yard, falling over. The lawn in the backyard has not been mowed, I'd say, for at least a year. And they get away with it. Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to come in, and I'm sorry that you've had to return. Ray, we'll follow through as far as any other measures that we can do under the current ordinance. Sounds like there might be property maintenance issues beyond the bamboo, so we can report that also. As noted by the map there, we saw that part of the property is under Harding, so you can see the effectiveness. And I guess, Pat, you can take that back to
The meeting Tuesday night.
Yep, and it's been in place for a while, and we can see how well it's working in other locations. Thank you very much for coming in. Anyone else wishing to be heard, please step forward. Seeing none, I close this part of the meeting. We move on to introduction of ordinances. Will the clerk please read the statement?
The ordinance scheduled for first reading has a hearing date set for Wednesday, October the 10th, 2018. Will be published in the Madison Eagle, posted on the bulletin board, and made available to members of the public requesting copies.
I call up ordinance 46-2018 for first reading. I ask the borough clerk to read said ordinance by title.
Ordinance of the Borough of Madison amending Chapter 185-39 taxi stands to delete parking spaces dedicated to taxis on Lincoln Place.
Mayor, I move ordinance 46-2018.
Second.
And just so the public understands, we are taking some steps to address the parking problem in downtown, and we have short range and long range ones, and taking care of the low hanging fruit. And that includes the parking on the north side of Lincoln Place in front of the movie theater that has been striped, so there's now permitted parking there. And this is now adding the spots on the railroad side, because the reality is there's not a need in this day and age for a taxi stand. And if there is, there's the parking area and covered area on the south side of the train station. So that will be available. So we'll pick up some more parking spaces on Lincoln. Any other comments or questions from the Maureen?
And we're doing this to encourage people to use the south side of the station for both drop-off and pickup.
Yes. And that includes within the parking lot there, and I know sometimes it gets clogged up, and so just another 20 feet further, you can be right on Kings Road. Any other comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Vitale?
Yes.
Ms. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Wolkowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Rowe?
Yes.
Ms. Byrne?
Yes.
Mr. Hoover?
Yes.
Will the clerk please read the statement on the consent agenda resolutions?
Consent agenda resolutions will be enacted with a single motion. Any resolution requiring expenditure is supported by a certification of availability of funds. Any resolution requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda. All resolutions will be reflected in full in the minutes.
Mr. Mayor, I move resolutions R237 through 253 and also 255-2018.
A second.
Any discussion or any that need to be pulled? Maureen?
Yeah, I'd like to pull R242-2018.
So we will discuss that one separately. That's the Elks raffles. Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Vitale?
Yes.
Ms. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Wolkowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Rowe?
Yes.
Ms. Byrne?
Yes.
Mr. Mr. Hoover.
Yes.
I have a motion for Resolution 242-2018.
So moved.
Second.
Council discussion.
Okay, that's me. I am not against raffles. I think raffles are a wonderful way of getting everybody involved in a fundraising endeavor. But call me old-fashioned, call me Irish Catholic. I don't like having raffles on a Sunday. It's probably a very petty thing on my part, but I just think that Sunday needs to be honored as a day for family and all these other things, and the idea of running raffles on a Sunday just offends me.
And these are instant raffle, which are typically in Elks clubs or similar social clubs that come from a machine, not too much dissimilar to a instant raffle ticket or a lottery ticket, but it is geared towards a fundraiser for the Elks Club. It certainly wouldn't change the gathering at an Elks Club. They'll still have people there, and whether they'll be buying the raffles or not. So, any other comments? Otherwise, we'll... Okay, roll call vote, please.
Vitale?
Yes.
Ms. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Wolkowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Rowe?
Yes.
Ms. Byrne?
No.
Mr. Hoover?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to unfinished business. I just can't skip a meeting and.
You're not
we're
making
unfinished
Pat's time.
There is no unfinished business, so we will move on to approval of vouchers. We're getting our act together up here on the dais.
Mr. Mayor, next year we can't take off like the whole month of August.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the voucher, the current fund is $6,498,935.44. The general capital fund, $264,553.73. Electric operating fund, $1,130,64.25. The water operating fund, $27,239.20. The water capital fund, $4,760. The trust, $371,380.06. The total vouchers come to $8,296,932.68.
Mr. Mayor, I move the approval of the vouchers.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Mrs. Vitale?
Yes.
Ms. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Wolkowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Rowe?
Yes.
Ms. Byrne?
Yes.
Mr. Hoover?
Yes.
And a new business, I'd like to make the following appointment. This does not require council approval because it's Environmental Commission. Nicole Wood of 171 Main Street to the vacant alternate number 2 member through December 31st, 2018. And now we are on to item 21.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Right. I'll practice a little bit more when I'm...
And the seniors don't have, they don't have me being a member.
Spending next
Could I have voted on a
August
couple local banks?
in Europe. I already booked the cruise for 2 weeks.
Michael wants it.
You're not.
A debit card and they would direct deposit. So some of your local banks, if you talk to the guys on the payroll, they're usually willing to take it. You know, they'll come in and